Hey everybody, Brett Tadlock, TNArtist here. So we're going to do this time lapse of a spontaneous watercolor painting done in Rebelle 7 Pro. So what I've done here is on a dry canvas with very wet watercolors, I've added them in, and then I'm changing the way that it runs, by adjusting the vertical and tilting of the board, if you will. And then I'm adding in more color and put it on there. One thing I like to do is put it on there and then fast dry, and then put it on there and then fast dry, because it'll let me capture a little bit more of the texture and the spread in a way that I think is interesting. So that's what I'm doing here, is just kind of throwing in colors of oranges and yellows and greens. No real idea in mind for it, but then as I started adding it and looking at it, it started making me think of trees. It started making me think of like maybe water reflections and stuff like that. So I decided to start playing into that a little bit more, but I wanted to add more texture, so I just keep adding more paint, letting it bloom, fast drying it, letting it bloom. Then I made another layer and added this bluish color in the background to kind of shape those into tree sort of looking things. And then right there I was just playing with the hue, saturation, to kind of dim it down just a little bit. On another layer, I created an overlay layer and a dark and a multiply layer, so I could add in some shadows and kind of separate out some of the front and the back there. And then again, add those on, let them bloom out a little bit, and then hit fast dry so that I can catch some of those different looks and feels of everything. So that's what you can see that I've done here. And then the next thing I wanted to do is I was trying to figure out, okay, what I want to see, how do I want it to do, and start taking shapes. I then started on a new layer, adding in some branches to these to start making these look like trees. And then I decided I wanted to add in an old dead tree. And so once I got these kind of where I wanted them, and then erased it back, this is why I did it on a separate layer, so I could then draw this in, paint it in, and then go back and erase some of it that I wanted to really kind of cut it back in behind some of the shrubs there. And it just kind of gives it more dimension and more depth by playing with that. Then I took stencils and added in some of the trees and really just kind of blended what was there up into the dry areas and shaped it and defined some of it, so it kind of again gives us some layers. Took my water ripple stencil and laid in some color there along with my stones and pebbles stencil, and to give me a few more splats that a little bit more controllable than using a splatting brush. Then I took an oval selection and started kind of vignetting everything in and get rid of the stuff I didn't like. And then finally a pencil to start adding some scratches of grass and sticks and everything in there, and then added in a few birds in there. So this was kind of a fun little lesson to do. I'll add more, but I just wanted to show you this real quick thing that I thought we could play around with of some watercolors. That's it. I'll see you in the next one.